Peace and positive. This is Amelia A. Altar, aka Emily MC, author of Y'all Not Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind book. And today's topic is on the power and disempower of words, name calling, and speaking things into existence. Now, before we get into some clips from the global community, we're looking at how positive, negative, and even indifferent phrasing, tones, and verbal expressions can move ourselves, others, or whole groups of people into or out of power. Now, Merriam-Webster defines disempower as a verb meaning to deprive from or keep one from power, authority, or influence, to make weak, ineffectual, or unimportant. Synonyms for disempower include the words delegitimize, disable, invalidate, and disqualify. Ratio. Synonyms for the word empower include approve, enable, qualify, endorse, and privilege. Power itself includes the words command, control, dominion, direction, sovereignty, pull, grip, hold, voice, energy, aptitude, potency, capacity, and the ability to do something or produce a result. Now, if you follow these last few seconds closely, you might have noticed that just simply listening to the synonyms of each word produced a certain kind of energy in your mind, and maybe even in your body. You might have felt each group of words, each in a different way. This is the first basis of the mere but mighty power of words. Now, there's been an abundance of scientific study on this from multiple angles. On the point I just made, a neuroscientist at Thomas Jefferson University named Dr. Andrew Newberg and communications expert Mark Robert Waldman co-wrote in their book, Words Can Change Your Brain, message, that, quote, a single word has the power to influence the expression of genes that can regulate physical and emotional stress. And furthermore, exercising positive thoughts can quite literally change one's reality, end quote. Also in 2025, a group of international researchers led by scientists at Virginia Tech on relationships of neurotransmitters found that, quote, words activate hidden brain processes shaping emotions, decisions, and behavior, end quote. This study has been considered unprecedented in showing how people, almost involuntarily, interpret the significance of words through the content of language. A 2019 study published by the National Institute of Health found words can actually affect pain regulation. That's right, pain regulation. Quote, negative pain-related words can increase the intensity of pain by triggering stronger responses in the brain's, hold up, anterior cingulate cortex and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, end quote. Let's go, Em. Taking this a step further, what about the power of words and how we discern other people and the world around us? Well, a 2017 article titled Why Words Matter, What Cognitive Science Says About Prohibiting Certain Terms, quoted Lara Boroditsky, a cognitive scientist at the University of California, San Diego, saying, quote, words have power, period. She didn't say period, I said period. Digressing, if I tell you this hamburger is 80% lean as opposed to 20% fat, then in some sense, I'm communicating the same thing, sure. But what people get from those two communications is very different. People perceive the 80% lean hamburger as much healthier than the 20% fat option. By choosing how you frame and talk about something, you are cueing others to think about it in a specific way. We can drastically change someone's perspective by how we choose to talk about and frame something, end quote. Lastly, in 2019, Stanford University research expanded this point in that words also have power in stereotype reinforcement. That even, quote, subtle phrasing can perpetuate biases, and seemingly harmless sentences can imply deeply ingrained stereotypes, end quote. So with this said, can a person or entire group of people be uplifted or erased just with the right or wrong combination of words? Can hard facts be reduced and hidden just by the way something's phrased? Can the true impact of a person, place, or thing be distorted by labels, monikers, and social symbolism? Can encouragement or bullying be done even without the encourager or the bully? Can words abuse and terrorize or inspire and construct just by themselves? Now, looking at this creatively and culturally before we move on, I just want to say I've been called names in front of my face, online, behind my back. Sure. As well, growing up in New York City, I've gotten to hear quite the array of name calling, cultural references, and creative license taken on ways people address, uplift, or reduce other people, places, and things. Being in close proximity to people all over the country and world, I've also gotten to hear or straight up ask about the local, regional, and native adjectives and idioms familiar to certain groups more than others. Lastly, growing up embedded in hip-hop culture with a deep penchant for lyricism, it's been pretty much embedded in my psyche that the tongue is just as, if not mightier, than the sword. And you must not only train the voice, but use it wisely. Of course, there are numerous hip-hop acts who have little to no interest in using words with a precise attention to constructive language, best of skill, or even dominating vocals. And you know what? This isn't always a negative thing. Some of the most impactful hip-hop songs in history are built on simple storytelling, retelling of events, establishing good vibes for the function, or effectively carrying production with charismatic, intriguing, and socially coded phrasing. And that's it. For example, respectfully, I've heard Ludacris speak on purposely avoiding deeply personal writing throughout his catalog, and he's been one of hip-hop's best-selling and most sustainably successful touring and recording artists of his generation, if not several generations. Several of his songs still speak to real-life situations, relatable emotional moods, and do so in some of the most memorable and creative deliveries on wax of all time. Much like jazz vocalist and instrumentalist Ben Notes, Ludacris has bent words and phrases, and along with deliberate tones and inflections of voice, given familiar words and phrases new power in doing so. Now, on the mental health front of hip-hop songwriting and performance, many have opted to get deeply personal with words, and we've been all the better for it. Most of the socially impactful classics like Eve's Love is Blind, Ghetto Boys My Mind Playing Tricks, DMX Slippin', and Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five's The Message, or newer offerings by the likes of No Name, Lil Sims, Megan Thee Stallion, and Doechii, or elite deep album cuts like Solange and Lil Wayne on A Seat at the Table's Mad, one of my joints, and even the likes of the forward writer for Y'all Not Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind, Pharoah Monch's entire PTSD post-traumatic stress disorder album, plus several songs throughout his catalog, also with Organized Confusion and 13, all carry therapeutic, socially analytical, and philosophical power in the words and verse structures. Several movements from the culture have also been spurred just by coining of the right words. I'm talking even way before Public Enemy told us to fight the power, before Queen Latifah asked, "Who you calling a bitch?" And way before Cash Money proclaimed bling bling, the newest statement of visible wealth and aspiration. But just as Queen Latifah went out of her way to, quote, punch the little one dead in his eye on UNITY for calling her out her name, can names, simple words, the delivery and tone of words be just as destructive as they are creative? Is it all a matter of what we filter, discern, and internalize? Or is there an inherent danger to so-called freedom of speech, especially when it comes to bullying and the larger implications of reinforcing isms, systems, and social control? Does anything or anyone automatically come to mind when you hear a phrase like chick flick, invited to the cookout, bougie, weak, perfectionist, mental illness, or crazy? Is there a reason why words and phrases like healing, know your worth, and high value become less meaningful and cliche? Are there deeper reasons why words are used in certain fonts, sizes, and colors everywhere we look and on signs and ads in different physical environments? Can norms, habitats, and environment of words not just be present for instructions, labels, and social descriptions, but actually be shaping our emotional lives, daily mental health, and potential for the future? Now, if you're following along with my original book, here's your day 5 quote. And if you're following along with my workbook, here's prompt number 5. Thank you all for your support of Y'all Not Gonna Make Me Lose My Mind. And without further ado, let's roll the clips and hear from the global community about the good, the bad, and the ugly of linguistics, the positive, negative, and indifferent power of words. Peace.
Words is powerful, you know? And I think that the ability to articulate, you know, you can really impact people. I think as human beings, everybody has a natural gift and a natural passion, but then you go outside and you get influenced and you feel pressure from what's going on outside. And so, you know, I read one time, like, would you rather be at war with yourself and at peace with the world, or at peace with yourself and at war with the world? And that was powerful for me.
There are a few phrases that I would not say because I understand how the power of the subconscious mind works. And I understand that your subconscious mind cannot distinguish whether something is a joke versus reality. I never joke about my health. I never say this is why something always happens to me. I also never say to somebody else, oh, that is just my luck when it comes to my health. I never say that. I never make jokes about my finances, even jokes that are like disparaging to me, you know, for another person. I never say that. I never say that I'm broke. I never say that there is lack. I never say that there's not enough money to go around. I never even hint at that at all. It will never come into my mind. I don't care how much money I have in my bank account. You will never, ever, ever hear me say that out loud. I never joke about my appearance. I don't care how I'm feeling or how I'm looking. I will never say that I'm unattractive, that I'm ugly, that I look like SH, you know, finish the rest. I never even make a joke about that. Your subconscious is picking up on that, and it will only reflect back to you what you say. I never make statements that are absolute about my day. So I never say this is just my luck, or this always happens to me, or this would happen to me. I always bless this day. I say thank you, God, for this circumstance. I know that it is either a lesson or a blessing. You are impressing your subconscious with that information, and your subconscious is only going to look for ways to confirm that to you. It is so common for friendships to get together, like friends to get together and then just say disparaging comments about themselves to each other. I'm not going to say anything that is going to affect me or anything that I don't want to come to life. Anything that you say, you have to understand it can come to life, especially if you're saying it over and over and over.
I believe in the power of words. Words can make you, break you, they can heal your soul, they can damage you forever. So I always try to use the positive words in my life wherever I go. They call it adversity, I call it opportunity. They call it weakness, I call it strength. They call me disabled, I call myself differently abled. They see my disability, I see my ability. There are some incidents that happen in your life, and those incidents are so strong that they change your DNA. Those incidents or accidents are so strong that they break you physically. They deform your body, but they transform your soul.
What you think about yourself and what you believe about yourself, what you say about yourself is way more effective than what anybody else could think or say or believe about you. So imagine you come, oh, I ain't this, I ain't that, I'm ugly. You are causing all of the insecurities. You are causing all the pain you feel because your words are powerful, and whatever you speak to yourself is what you're going to have. Mm-hmm. And I started saying, you know what? Good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, beautiful. And I didn't even believe it yet, but I just started speaking it. And good morning, beautiful. Good morning, gorgeous. I love you. I need you. God loves you. I don't give what the hell with what everybody else has to say. What do you think? And it started to grow.
A study done by the Institute of Cognitive Science in France found that hearing action-related verbs in an affirmative sentence increased the physical force with which participants gripped objects. When words were presented in a negative form, the effect diminished. This showed that negativity can deactivate the natural readiness. This study links the relationship between language and our motor activity. It suggests that words can prime the brain for action.
Notice how one word can make your whole body tense up even when nothing bad is happening? That reaction isn't dramatic, it's your brain doing exactly what it's designed to do. Your brain has a built-in alarm system and is always scanning for anything that might lead to danger or even rejection. And this alarm lives in a small part of your brain called the amygdala. It's called a threat detector. And here's the crazy part. It reacts to emotional threat the same way it reacts to physical threats. Meaning harsh tone, certain phrases, criticism, disappointment words, rejection words, and conflict triggering phrases. These all hit your brain like a mini danger signal. Like example number 1, we need to talk. There's no danger in the sentence, but your amygdala lights up because in your past, that phrase equals conflict. Your brain reacts to the memory and not the moment. Example 2, I'm disappointed. To a kid, this often is meant to losing approval or even connection. So even as an adult, the word disappointed can activate stress instantly. It's not the word, it's the history that's attached to it. Example 3, calm down. Nobody likes to be told to calm down. Your brain hears you're wrong for feeling this, so the alarm gets louder instead of quieter. Example 4, criticism phased as identity. You always, you never, you're the type who. These don't attack the situation, they attack the self, and your brain treats it as a social threat. So why does this happen? Your brain cares about 2 things above all: safety and belonging. Anything that feels like being judged, being excluded, losing approval, losing control, conflict, or even uncertainty, these gets tagged as danger, even if the danger isn't even real.
Words are powerful. You got to talk them into existence. Anything negative, you got to disassociate yourself with it and move it further away from you.
Mental health issues are not a trend. In the 90s, they were often discussed over hip-hop tracks, like in these songs, as opposed to in social media.
It's not just what you say, it's how you say it.
Humpty Hump and Slick Rick rhyme from the nasal palate. Nas rhymes from the back of his throat. Biggie is a swinger. He swings like a horn player over jazz. B-I-G-P-O, P-P-A, no info for the D-E-A. He put more emphasis on the He's just spelling his name. Tupac pulled from Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all the good speakers. Even though you was a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama. It's like pouring those words out because you mean it. Pac rhymed from the pit of his stomach.
You can have a great voice, right? And you can just almost say anything. I think Snoop Dogg has a great voice. Like he can say 1, 2, 3, and to the 4. It's like, oh my God. It just sounds good, right? It just sounds really good.
When I would hear people say that they don't listen to rap music because it's too overstimulating, I used to think, oh, well, that's just because you're racist. But then I thought about it, and rap is actually a very intense genre. Every place you turn, there's slang, there's play on words, there's idioms, there's metaphors, there's interpolation, there's double entendres, there's figures of speech, pop culture references. There's so many things that you have to keep track of. The average pop, rock, country, EDM listener doesn't have to do a whole bunch of brain gymnastics because whatever they're saying in the song is exactly what they mean. In the song 7:12 p.m. by Future, he says, sent behind 5%, you could see the Chinane. You have to understand that Chinane is Guapanese for chain. You have to understand that he is sitting inside of a car with 5% tint. And you have to understand the reason you can see the chain from outside of the car that has 5% tint is because of the refractive index of his diamond chains. This is just one line of the song. Even Lil Wayne on A Milli, he says, I'm a venereal disease like a menstrual I bleed through the pencil and leak on the sheet of the tablet of my mind because I don't write shit because I don't got time. If you didn't have the prior knowledge to know that Lil Wayne doesn't write his music, but he goes into the booth and freestyles, this whole thing doesn't make any sense to you. Also has a lot of things like subtleties when it goes into sneak dissing. Drake said, I would have all your fans if I didn't go popping, I stayed on some conscious shit. And people don't understand how he's dissing Kendrick Lamar here. That's how you get a lot of people who are listening to Taylor Swift's eldest daughter and being like, I don't understand how you guys got Megan Thee Stallion out of this. And these aren't even like our best lyricists. This is kind of elementary when it comes to rap music. And to make matters worse, sometimes it doesn't even stop at the actual artist. Sometimes it goes all the way down to the producer of the song.
You walk into a courtroom. Why do you go to court? You play basketball on a court. You play tennis on a court.
Right.
Yeah, how do you play tennis on a court? You play with a racket. Come on. And so when the judge walks out, he rules from the bench, right? Look it up in a Latin dictionary. The word bench is a bank in Latin. And so the judge is ruling for the bank. That's why he wears a black robe, because the black robe represents the planet Saturn, the god of banking and law. who in the ancient world was called Lord of the Rings.
Wow.
Well, he is Lord of the Rings.
Like this ring.
And so women were told in the ancient world to listen to their god, so they would wear an ear ring. Men were to get married before their god, so they wear a wedding ring, because Saturn was Lord of the Rings.
More people die between 6 and 9 on a Monday morning than any other time of the week. So I do what I call a translation of the English language, and I spell that Trance, with the idea that words cast spells. So when you translate that life sentence, you remember that a wake is a funeral party for the dead. Mourning is the state you're in when you attend a wake. And you would have to be in a weekdays to earn the living, since urns are for the ashes of the dead. We call our jobs undertakings. Job itself is a Hebrew word for persecuted. And what we get at the end of this perverse bargain with life is the weak end of the deal as we become progressively weakened ourselves. And so our most prevalent greeting to each other is hello, the reverse of which is oh.
What? All you all think smoking kills? Let me tell you something. Do you know that the amount of people dying from diabetes are 3 times as many people dying from smoking? Yet if I pulled a Snicker bar, nobody would say anything. Do you know that the leading cause of lung cancer is not actually a cigarette? It's your DNA. You could smoke for years and nothing will ever happen to you. This whole war against smoking is just to restrict the farming of tobacco. Mr. Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters and guests, I use these arguments, even though I just made them up, with a group of my friends, and the results, 5 of them believed what I said. 2 of them started smoking. Words, when said and articulated in the right way, can change someone's mind. They can alter someone's belief. You have the power to bring someone from the slums of life and make a successful person out of them. Or destroy someone's happiness using only your words. Does that seem a bit too good to be true? A simple choice of word can make a difference between someone accepting or denying your message. You can have a very beautiful thing to say, but say it in the wrong words and it's gone.
The song that everybody keeps talking about this particular artist, it don't make no sense, right? There is no continuity in the song. Do y'all know what continuity is, right? Continuity is when each bar makes sense based on the last bar. Right? It flows. There's a message. It is continuous. Continuity, right? Like a storyline. And it don't have to be necessarily a storyline, but each bar has to make sense in context of the whole song. The beat is carrying them. But if you go read the lyrics by itself without the beat, the song trash as fuck. And I'm the type of bitch that is gonna go to that damn Genius page and go look at the lyrics and be like, bitch, what the fuck is you talking about? Ho, is you cool? What is you talking about? You're talking about nothing. There's no continuity. I don't know what the fuck the song was about. What was the song about?
Think about books, films, TV shows, or musicians that have primarily female audiences. They're seen as less serious, less valuable, less culturally important, even when they are commercially dominant, artistically influential, or historically enduring. The movie Titanic, for example, is one of the most commercially successful and culturally enduring films in history, combining technical innovation, historical spectacle, and a romance centered on female desire, memory, and loss. And it was directed by a guy who's known for these very sort of masculine action movies. This is the same guy who did Terminator. And yet, despite winning multiple Academy Awards and redefining the modern blockbuster, it is routinely dismissed, especially by men, as a chick flick.
You always call it a minority problem. And it's true that black or non-white people are minority in any European capital. But we are not a minority in the world. You are the minority. And that's what you cannot face. All you really have, after all, are space shuttles, banks, and weapons. What you don't have anymore is me.
These words are powerful. You know, I got homeboys that's dead, that's in prison, and sometimes you get a lot of artists that just glorify that. So these kids look at it, you know, they think it's nothing but cool until they put in a real situation where they back against the wall and it's all over. For me, that's what separates me as an artist. I'm gonna give you the gift and I'm gonna give you the curse. Yeah, for me, I'm responsible for myself to know what I'm talking about. That's where my responsibility comes, to know 100% what I'm talking about, because I'm a witness. It's your choice to listen to it, but it's my responsibility to know exactly what I'm talking about, you know, and to always give you both sides of the fence.
Words are seeds. Words are seeds. They are seeds that contain thoughts. Heart, meaning your spirit, and your tongue is connected. You gotta watch what you're saying. You gotta watch your words. Cursing yourself when you're talking negative about your body, your money, your children, your situation in life. See, it's gonna take time. You know how you watch a movie, and then you watch a movie, then you see it again, you see something different that you ain't see at first? Make sure you read these books more than one time yourself. Read them at least 3 times and get it in you.
Octavia Butler, a visionary American author, remains a towering figure in the realms of science fiction. Renowned for her remarkable imagination and perceptive storytelling, Butler's work has left an indelible mark on the genre. With accolades such as the Hugo, Nebula, and MacArthur Fellowship, she cemented her status as one of the most influential writers of her time. Her most famous works include Kindred, a captivating time travel novel exploring themes of slavery and identity, and the groundbreaking Parable series, encompassing Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents, which delve into themes of dystopia, religion, and survival in an increasingly chaotic world. In addition to her acclaimed literary works, Octavia Butler's archive of journal entries offers a profound glimpse into her creative process and personal growth. Within these pages, she crafted affirmations, powerful statements that reinforced her beliefs and aspirations, serving as guiding principles for her work and life. Butler's manifestations, meticulously recorded in her journals, revealed her ability to visualize and manifest her goals and desires, harnessing the power of intention. Moreover, her notes to herself served as a profound reflection of her creative journey, capturing her insights, challenges, and breakthroughs, while offering invaluable wisdom to fellow writers and admirers alike.
Words have power. If you don't believe it, date someone who calls you dummy. You know what I mean? Oh, there's sounds from a mammal. No, they're not. They're spells. We're casting spells on each other. I do this on stage as a stand-up sometimes. I point to someone in the front row, I go, that's a great shirt. You made a great choice of that shirt. And you can see, even though they know I'm just kind of joking around or making a point, it works. Sometimes I like to call other people me. This me is begging for change. This me is driving me to the airport. I find that useful. That's a way that language can... It's very trippy, and I don't expect everybody to sort of like sign on and start doing that. But I do it privately, especially if anybody's serving you or helping you, or you think you're like, oh, this is the flight attendant. No, this me just brought me a Sprite. Thank you. That me's doing great. Looks nice. Instead of going, this flight attendant, look, that's a label we made so we feel okay about yelling at them that there should be more overhead space. Now that me is doing my best.